Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here to continue the lessons in a Course of Miracles, in the Workbook of A Course in Miracles. And today we are on lesson 79. So today's lesson is, let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. It says a problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Even if it is really solved already, you will still have the problem because you will not recognize that it has been solved. This is the situation of the world. The problem of separation, which is the belief that we are a body, which is really the only problem, has already been solved. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. We're not recognizing that our belief that we are a body. Everyone in this world seems to have his own special problems. I'm going to go back over that again. I don't know if I said that correctly. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. And it is our belief that we are a body. So everyone in this world seems to have his own special problems. Yet they are all the same and must be recognized as one if the one solution that solves them all is to be accepted. Who can see a problem that has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else? Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance. That is the position in which you find yourself now. You have the answer, but you are still uncertain about what the problem is. A long series of different problems seems to confront you. And as one is settled, the next one and the next one arise. Have you noticed that? You know, sometimes it's the same problem, that keeps on repeating itself. Or it may seem similar, but in a different form. And it says there seems to be no end to the problems. And there is no time in which you feel completely free of problems and at peace. The temptation to regard problems as many is a temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved, which is the belief that you are a body. The world seems to present you with a vast number of problems, each requiring a different answer. This perception places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure is inevitable. No one can solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels, in such varying forms and with such varied content that they confront you with an impossible situation. And then dismay and depression are inevitable as you regard them. Some spring up unexpectedly, just as you think you have solved the previous ones. Others remain unsolved under a cloud of denial and rise to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again, but still unsolved. All this complexity is but a desperation or a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem. Again, which is that you believe you are a body, and therefore not to let it be resolved. If you could recognize that your only problem is separation, no matter what form it takes, you could accept the answer because you would see its relevance. Perceiving the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand that you have the means to solve them all. And you would use the means now because you recognize the problem, which again is that you believe you are separate from God. In our longer practice periods today, we will ask what the problem is and what is the answer to it. We will not assume that we already know. We'll try to free our minds of all the many different kinds of problems we think that we have. Just look at the problems. We will try to realize that we have only one problem, which we have failed to recognize. We will ask what it is and wait for the answer. We will be told. Then we will ask for the solution to it, and we will be told. The exercises for today will be successful to the extent to which you do not insist on defining the problem. Perhaps you will not succeed in letting all your preconceived notions go, but that is not necessary. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of your version of what your problems are. You are trying to recognize that you have been given the answer by recognizing the problem, so that the problem and the answer can be brought together and you can be at peace. The shorter practice periods for today will not be set by time, but by need. You will see many problems today, each one calling for an answer. Our efforts will be directed towards recognizing that there is only one problem and one answer. In this recognition are all problems resolved. In this recognition, there is peace, if only for a few moments. Be not deceived by the form of problems today. Whenever any difficulty seems to rise, tell yourself quickly, let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. Then try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, close your eyes for a moment and ask what it is. You will be heard and you will be answered. So, in reflecting on this lesson today, what came up for me is to remember that, we don't believe we are spirit. That's our true identity, which is love and light and our innocence. That's our true identity. We've created this other personal identity through the ego because we believe that we are a body. And we've created this split mind with a belief in guilt and a belief in sin and a belief in fear. And a belief that we are limited. So fear from the ego thought system generates the defenses and attack, and consequently us living in constant problem solving. And the cause is the unconscious guilt from our belief in separation from God, that we're separate from God, which is our only problem, that we believe that. And this generates all the egoic and the worldly problems, thinking that our solutions are outside of us or are in the external world. And then we try to solve our problems all on our own, meaning that, without or separate from God. And again, it's all sourced from our belief that we are separate from God. So why would we go to God to ask for help with our problems when we have that belief? So our guilt from believing that we are separated from God gets projected outward. For example, our guilt regarding lack of money, our guilt regarding sickness, our guilt regarding conflict, and guilt that that is generated in our relationships. And this is all projected out there in our life and in the world. As it says in here, a great number of problems that we perceive, and we continue to perceive them, trying to solve these problems over and over again, all on our own. And again, when we take a look, they might come in a different form, but underlyingly, they're the same problems. And, it is the guilt in our minds is causing all these problems. And there's only one problem, which the ego does not want us to recognize. So look at where you think you cannot solve problems. For example, like because you don't have enough time, or because you don't have enough money. And, you may say, no, I can't do that because I don't have enough time to do that. I don't know, for example, I don't have enough time to exercise for my health. Or you might say, no, I can't do that because I don't have enough money to do that. I don't know, participate in an event, or, maybe to go buy something, or to pay for something, or, and you or we continue to suffer and to struggle over this, or to struggle or to suffer over this. And the ego sabotages. It's in the ego, it's seek and do not find. And again, this is projection of the guilt that's in our minds. Showing up as lack. And that is our perception, or what we perceive, and feeling even victimized. When it's showing up in lack, again, it's because we believe we're separate from God. And with God, all things are possible. And with God, there is abundance. God is abundance. God is love. God only sees our innocence. But the guilt that is within us gets projected out there. And it shows up in the form of lack, for example, and shows up in the form of fear. So again, our problems remain in our split mind and our belief that we are a body, and that we think that we're an ego. And it's all from the guilt in our mind. Okay, let's remember today's lesson again, which is, let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. All right, we will continue on in the next lesson with regards to, it says, let me recognize my problems have been solved. That's lesson number 80. And we will be doing that lesson in the next video. So I hope those thoughts at the end help you out. And it's for all of us. We're dealing with all this unconscious guilt that is coming to the surface as we do this work. So, do your best in your practice today. And, we'll be at lesson number 80 tomorrow. And where you're at right now in the course and doing these lessons is totally perfect. Just continue to be committed to doing the work and doing the practice, and do it to the best of your ability. You might want to notice where you might be guilting yourself if you're not doing it perfectly. That's just something to note. And where is that guilt coming from? And you have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to being with you in the next video, as I said, for lesson number 80. Alrighty. Bye for now.